these from Adept. Not just one palette, but 2 palettes. Hey y'all, it's Heather, and you know I'm so excited because I have 2 new palettes here from Adept Cosmetics, one of my favorite brands. First up, we have the Unity palette. Look at this packaging, it's so gorgeous, and then this beautiful romantic color story inside. But that is not all, because I also have a Duality palette. Same packaging, beautiful lettering down here, and this is a face palette. Look at these colors, look at these shades. Let me show you an up close of these palettes because the packaging, the color story, everything is gorgeous. And at the time that I'm filming this, I do not know when these palettes are going to be available for sale. Adept did send these to me, but by the time this video goes live, I will have that information. So I'm going to put that in the description box and in a pinned comment for you. And I will have my affiliated code in the description box as well. My code with Adept is Heather if you ever want to get a discount on their site. Let's start first by talking about Duality, this cheek palette, because I absolutely love Adept cheek palettes. And in the past, we've seen them release some trios and some quads that were more limited edition, but really beautiful. So I was very happy to see that Adept is coming out with some more face shades. I have them on right now, but I have like multiple shades mixed. But before I swatch, I did want to show you next to the only other like cheek or face palette that is on the Adept site right now, and that is the Amy Loves palette. So you can see it looking at these side by side. They're not similar at all. Like they're completely different shades, everything. I just cannot get over this packaging. Like I cannot get over it. It's so pretty, but it's okay. I'm gonna have to get over it because the inside is just as pretty, and I want to swatch. Let's do these matte shades first. How about that? We'll do Happy Never Spoils, we'll do Magenta, and then Duality is like an ombre looking blush. So I'll swatch that separately and then we'll swatch it together. But look at that poppy pink blush. I just have to use a tiny amount of product. Look at those. I mean, I like doing swatches. I think it's fun. We definitely don't do our blush like swiping it on like that. We're fluffing, we're blending, all of that. But you can see the pigment right away. And now I will swatch Duality. And what I will do is I'll go into this shade, I'll go into this shade, and then we'll kind of swirl them after we swatch. But I want to kind of show you the options. So swatching just like this. Now these warmer shades are going to go into my skin tone a lot more than these cooler type shades. So they're not quite as poppy against me, and they're also very much lighter. But now I'm just going to go back and forth into both, and I'll swatch there. So you can kind of custom make your own shade, and I love that. Love. I'm so into an orange blush lately. So now let's go in. I'll clean my fingers off and we'll swatch these 3 sparkly, glowy shades up here. We have Orange Pearl, Sometimes Violet, and Roses Are Red. All right, I'm gonna put those right there. I'm like, let me make sure I'm using my right fingers. And we have those colors. So pretty. I mean, you can see, like I have the face palette on today, and they're beautiful. There definitely is a little bit of sparkle to them, but it's not a heavy sparkle. I feel like if you're looking at me, you're seeing more of a glow. You'll see these all on the face, but I just had to show you swatches too because they're so pretty. Also want to point out that Adept pans are magnetic. If you are somebody who likes to rearrange your palettes, or you have a magnetic palette and you like to make custom palettes to travel with, things like that, these are magnetic and the names are printed on the back. So the back of this shade does have printed Roses Are Red. So if you ever forget and you want to put them back in their original like packaging, you can definitely do that. And it's the same with Adept eyeshadows. You can move them around. You can do that with my collaboration palette. You can do that with all of Adept palettes. Now we have Unity. This, oh, I love the packaging. I'm gonna keep saying it because I really love it and I think it's special, okay? We have the beautiful Adept shadows inside. We're gonna live swatch these. We do have a nice big mirror in this palette. I always like to point that out. And then like I mentioned, you can pop these shadows out. You can move them around, rearrange them, mix and match them with your other Adept palettes if you like. Let's swatch these 3 shadows right here first. These look so pretty. Here is the shade Unison Utopia. Do you see the glide on that swatch? Oh, it makes my mouth water. Here is the shade Tranquility. Oh, that's beautiful. That is like a silvery, lilac-y, sparkle, heavy, like, it looks wet and I'm so here for it. Rose Orchid. I'll put that one right here. And do you see how intense and metallic that shade is? I have not seen like how Adept describes these, nothing like that. So I'm just like speaking from what I see. And that is such a pretty purple color. Like I love the way that looks. Next, I'll swatch the shade Serene Beauty. That's probably not the best place to swatch across my knuckle, but it's a very pretty like soft but impactful color. I'm sorry, this is called Serene Spirit. I said Serene Beauty, but it's actually Serene Spirit. So beautiful, beautiful, high shine, almost like a pink, silvery white, like rose gold. I don't know, that's really beautiful though. Balanced Beauty, and I will put that kind of right here. It's like the light is like, oh, it wants to hit that shade. That's really pretty. I would say that's almost like a silvery with a green to it, which I'm all about green. It's my favorite color. I love. And the more I look at this, the more sparkle I see, the more that shade is like standing out and calling me. So here is the top row of the palette, those 5 shades. Next, we'll do these 5. You're not ready for this one. I've already used this one on the eyes, so I'm excited to swatch it for you. Do you see? Do you see? It's like this bronzy gold green, dirty money type of color. How would you describe that? Like it's definitely a brown, but there's also something kind of like gold, kind of bronzy. I feel like I am inclined to see the green tones in everything, so I do feel like it has that olive undertone. And I do want to say, when I talk about olive undertones, it can be a brown, but instead of like a warm brown or a golden brown or a gray brown, I'm talking about it has that little touch of like green olive to it. Super duper pretty, super intense. Next, I have the shade Petals, and this is a really pretty, almost Barbie pink. Like it is pink. Do you see like how it's not a hot pink? Maybe it is, like it could be paired that way, but it's almost more of like that Barbie pink, darker than a bubblegum pink. But when I saw it, I just immediately like thought of the Barbie movie, and I'm like, okay, it's got these different like purple, almost maybe like baby blue reflex to it. I've got this like, I don't know, it's a very beautiful special shade. Like I like that a lot. This shade is the Peaceful Path. I'm like, let me see, where can I put it? Maybe right here. And this is, oh, it's so pretty. You're gonna see the shifts in these shadows and the sparkles and everything when I can show you like in different lighting and kind of with the mirror and stuff, you'll see even better. But I like to show you kind of how these shadows glide. Like they just, they're so effortless, and just using one of these shadows kind of all over the lid and nothing else, letting it be a one and done eye look, you're gonna look like so chic and effortless, and like you put in a lot of effort but you really didn't, which is my type of vibe, you know. So I love that. These are all just so special and gorgeous. I mean, I can't with these. I can't. What can I not do? I don't know. This shade Serenade, I feel like I have been waiting on a shadow like this from Adept. Let me put that right here. I got a little too much. There we go. This is like MAC Blue Brown pigment. If you have been on YouTube, if you have been in the beauty space since MAC Blue Brown was the hottest thing ever, please raise your hand in the comments. I would love to hear from you, because when I saw this shade and I swatched it, I'm like, okay, MAC Blue Brown, but 2024 or even 2025, okay? Like it's so pretty, it's from the future, and that's what this shade is giving me, and I just kind of want to take a bath in it. It's yummy. It's yummy. This is a shade that if you like to wear neutrals primarily, put this in your look somewhere and it's going to be so beautiful against your neutrally tones, whether that be browns or grays. Honestly, browns, my personal preference, and it's just going to take your look to the next level. And it shifts and it shines and it looks so good. I just want to lick it and eat it. Next I have the shade Balanced Bond, and maybe we'll come over here like to the side of my arm because I'm running out of space, and I will put that right there. Look at that. Don't look at my little bug bite, okay? Look at my arm. This also, I really have a hard time like describing what it is. I feel if I put this with greens, it's gonna look green. I feel if I put this with browns and silvers, it's gonna look almost more like icy. It almost even has this like purpliness to it. I don't know, like it's so hard to describe. It's really one of those like transformative shades to where depending on what you pair it with is what you're gonna see, which makes it very versatile, because even if you wear this shadow every day, if you wear it every day with a different matte, it's gonna look different. And it's just like, can you even see? It's so reflective, and I can't. I can't. I only have like one light on me. I don't film with soft boxes or ring lights or anything. So that one light is just like hitting that and not wanting to let go. Ugh, it's so pretty. I can't stand it. I have a little more space over here on this hand, so we'll swatch the mattes over here. These mattes are stunning. Okay, here's that first one, kind of this cool tone taupey brown shade. It's called Tranquil Tone. So Adept mattes, I love, okay? You can like put them on and blend them, and they're pigmented and beautiful. You can layer them, which I really love, meaning you can kind of start with the lightest shade and then you can go in and add a deeper shade. You can start with the darkest and work to lightest, but you don't have to worry that like mixing mattes is going to create patchiness or anything like that. They're really, really beautiful. And then I'm going to swatch the shade Moss, which I'm so happy to have a green in here. Let me see, I can swatch it right there. Like, hello pigment, how are you? Like, you saw how that just went gorgeous. We have Mauve's Mist. I'm like, let me not dip my dirty fingers into my palette. Mauve's Mist right there. Absolutely stunning. Here is the shade Live a Little. What can I say that she didn't say herself when she just like swatched so easily, so beautifully, just gliding across my hand? The pigment, what can I say? Last but not least, where can I swatch? Maybe here, Balanced Brown. That's so pretty. That's so pretty. Okay, that is so pretty. I'm just so excited. I absolutely love makeup. I have such a good time just playing in makeup. To me, makeup is about having fun, creativity, spending some time on myself, not trying to look perfect, not trying to look better. We all look like a 10 out of 10 without anything, but makeup is so fun, and Adept makes fun, sparkly, beautiful formulas. They are a indie brand, meaning they are independently owned. They are not owned by some huge parent company. I did grab a stack of some of my more recent Adept palettes. I thought maybe we could look and see if there are any similar shades. I could swatch those for you. Let's start off with my palette, the Heather Austin palette. Here they are side by side. I want to swatch PA02 next to this shade right down here called Balanced Brown. Okay, here I have two shades from my palette. This is PA02 and this is 0603. Definitely deeper, definitely a little more like rich in tone, whereas this shade right here, Balanced Brown, is a bit more brown. It's definitely like a red brown. It's a little bit lighter in tone, and overall, yeah, more red. And this is the shade Tranquility. It's also lighter. It shifts differently, and it's like they both have this sparkle to it, but 0603 is almost a little more like silvery neutral in tone, whereas this is a little more purpley in tone. Now the packaging of the new palette is similar to the Flying Fiddles palette. This one is a lot more like sparkly and shifty and almost multi-chrome, whereas this one is not, but that's really where the similarities end. I really don't feel like there's any point in comparing these two because they're completely different. Here it is next, the Amy Loves palette. Definitely no duplicate or repeating shades, but I thought maybe I could swatch a couple. Here is the shade Pink from Amy Loves, and this is the shade Petal from the newer palette. Here is Caramel from Amy Loves, and this is the shade Balanced Bond. No dupes at all. Here is Legend of Ardra, the last release from Adept. I do have a full video on this palette, but I believe it is gone for good. I know it was limited edition, but I thought maybe I could swatch the pink mattes for you in case you were curious if they were too similar. You can see these pinks are not the same same at all. We have Legend of Ardra right down here. This is 1000 Years. And then our newer shade right here called Live a Little. Here it is next to Cyborg Choir. I'm also not seeing any repeats or duplicates here, but I can swatch this pink shade from Cyborg Choir just to show you kind of how different. This is the shade Robo Rose, and maybe I can put that, let me see. So we have Amy Loves, we have the new, so I'll put that here. This is more of a multi-chrome hollow. No, I think it's a multi-chrome, not a hollow. I'm like, hold on, that reflect was picking up. Let me know if you like seeing these comparisons, and I can continue to do this. I think it's helpful, especially if you're debating between two palettes, maybe seeing those subtle differences, or maybe you're somebody like me who is like, I love Adept, I have it all. If Adept had not sent this to me, I'm telling y'all, I would have purchased it because I need everything they do. And we will get into the look. I will tell you, I am wearing their new lip gloss. I'm wearing the shade Lursa. That's what I have on top of a little bit of a lip liner today. I did purchase all of Adept's new lip glosses, and I'm absolutely loving these. I talked about these right after they launched. Like, I bought them the day they launched and have been obsessed ever since. Let me zoom you in and grab an eyeshadow primer and we will create. I'm starting off this look with blush first. I'm gonna use the shade Duality 1. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shade. I love the way this looks on my face. Such a pretty color. And then I'm gonna go in on top with the shade Orange Pearl. I'm just gonna use the same brush to get like an overall glowy type of look. I love how glowy and warm this shade is on my cheek. I think it's so pretty. For this side of my face, I'm gonna go into the shade Magenta. This beautiful, beautiful, bright color. I think this is gorgeous, but it also applies really beautifully on the cheeks. I'm gonna use the shade Sometimes Violet just to top on top of my blush. I'm going for that overall glowy look, and I love the way these shades are mixing together. I wanted you to be able to see all four of these on my cheeks. Of course, I'm going to show you the last one later, but I am going to kind of mix both together to give myself a cohesive look. I've got my Sigma Ignite eye primer on, and we are going to go with these two matte shades down here first. We have Balanced Brown and Live a Little. I'm going to start with Balanced Brown, but I cannot wait to get that bright, intense pink on my lid. I'm gonna start with my deepest, darkest shade right out here. I'm just gonna press this right into the outer corner. I'm gonna put it down right here on my lid. I'm gonna blend it up, I'm gonna blend it out, and I'm gonna bring it in just a little bit like that, and then just lightly swirl. I will list and link the brushes that I'm using down below in the description box in case you're curious about anything. I'm also going to put a little bit of this under the lower lash line in the outer corner. I'm going to take the shade Live a Little, and I'm going to put that right here in my socket. Okay, so not really my crease because I have deep set eyes, so I have kind of lots of creases. I'm also 36, so you know, I like to say the socket, and I'm gonna bring it up a little bit above and below my socket as well. I'm gonna go in with just a tiny bit of this color right here. I've got this shade Tranquil Tone on a big fluffy brush, and I'm gonna use this to very lightly blend. I'm gonna be super gentle, not putting down a lot of pressure, and just kind of buffing these shades out. I really want to use this beautiful purple shade right here called Rose Orchid, and I want to use Petals, that kind of Barbie pink shade. I just have to get these on the eyes. I am going to pick these up on my brush, and I'm going to spray my brush with setting spray after I have the shadow on, but before I go onto my lid. That shade is so beautiful all over the lid. I love the way it catches the light. I love how smooth it is, not emphasizing any of my texture. Just so pretty. This is the shade Petals, and look at that sparkle. Oh my gosh, that's stunning. It's going in such a small space on my lid today, just this kind of like inner part of my lid. I'm gonna have to wear that shade by itself one day, kind of all over the lid, because it's so pretty. Now, depending on your eye shape, you can totally do this look. Just bring your shimmers up higher if you want to. Keep them a little lower if you want to. Don't take your mattes up as high. Take them up higher. Like, don't feel like you have to keep your shimmers so low if you don't want to. Like, I'm bringing this shimmer all the way up here because I want to be able to see it today. Like, as I go about my day, I want to be able to see this color. So I'm bringing it up way high. I want to use Mauve's Mist on my lower lash line. I'm just going to kind of buff the shade all underneath my lashes. I'm going to use Serene Spirit, this beautiful shade right here, to highlight my inner corner. Just going to pop that right there. It's so beautiful and sparkly. And these shadows are performing exactly the way I expect from Adept. They're pigmented, they're easy to blend, the shimmers are shimmering, they're sparkling, they're shining, they're giving off those different reflex. And for this look, I just wanted to do something so pink and purple and sparkly and like the vibes of the palette, you know? That is really, truly stunning. I'm gonna throw on liner and I'm gonna do a false lash today and I will be back. All right, y'all, here is the finished look with liner and a lash. I'm so into this pink purple Barbie type look. I'm so feeling it. Good morning. It's pretty early in the morning for me at least. So I have my eyeshadow primer on and we are going to dip into this beautiful green shade called Moss. I want this green shade to kind of go all in my socket. I want to blend it up and out, but I'm starting with that light green that's really, really beautiful. Maybe more of like a mid-tone, not a light. I want to put it on the outer portion of my lid and I want to put it on the inner portion right there. So we kind of have this like, what is that, like an upside down U shape right here. And then I'll also kind of buff and blend it out. I'm going to put the green shade underneath my lower lash line as well. I'm just letting myself be a little bit messy. Super blended, super kind of blown out green all around. Here's what the green is looking like. I adjusted my lights a little bit because I realized I had them up just a touch too bright because I was taking photos of something else yesterday and I forgot to turn it back down. So please forgive me. This is more true to color. I want to dip into this shade right here. It's been calling to me. It looks so beautiful and so like earthy and neutral and grounded and also like intense. I've got to use it. I'm going to pick it up on my brush and then I'm going to spray my brush with setting spray. I'm going to put this shade right in the center of my lid. I'm going to press it off my brush first, kind of drag, and then I'm going to very lightly blend back and forth so that I don't have a harsh line. I'm going to go back with Moss, same brush that I used earlier, and I'm going to use this to make sure I'm blended and not any harsh lines. We definitely don't want that. We want something kind of messy and blended. Next, I'm going to go into Peaceful Path. This looks like it has such a pretty shift to it. Let me see if I can kind of show you in the mirror. I mean, I know you already saw the swatches and everything, but it's really, really stunning. So I'm going to pick this up on my brush and I'm going to spray my brush. I just want to put this shade right under the lower lash line from like the front to the center. So like 2/3 of the way across. And then I'm just going to kind of layer it on top of that shade Moss and drag it a little bit. We've got to use this shade to highlight the inner corner. It looks so beautiful. Balanced Beauty. I'm going to pick it up on my brush. I'm not going to spray my brush this time. And I'm just going to press it right there on my inner corner. I'm going to take that shimmer and kind of blend it out. Diffuse it. Give myself a very sparkly, bright inner corner. I'm going to throw on liner and a lash, and I will be right back. For lips, I have a little bit of lip liner on, and I'm going to go on top with my Adept Cosmetics Juris Sisters Lip Gloss. I'm grabbing the Duality Cheek Palette, and I'm going to use the shade Honey Never Spoils for blush today. This shade is so gorgeous, but I want to go on top with just a little bit of this sparkle shade or shimmer shade, glowy shade called Roses Are Red. And here's my finished look. I wanted to create something super easy, just using a few shadows to give you a very effortless but green sparkly look. I absolutely love Adept, and I want to give you kind of my roundup thoughts on both of these palettes. I hope that the looks were able to inspire you if you were looking at picking these up. I hope everything was super helpful to you. I had a good time playing with these. I found the cheek palette to be very pigmented but easy to blend, easy to work with. I just went in with a light hand using these shades, and I really, really like the finish on my cheeks. Like, I think they're so beautiful. Wearing these all day, they lasted beautifully. The glow is there. It was gorgeous. Same with the shadows. These are the same high quality shadows that I expect from Adept. I absolutely love them. They're one of my favorite brands, and everything in here performs exactly like I want it to and exactly like what I know for the brand. I always love their launches. I think they make such high quality products. I mean, it's why I collabed with them, because I love their stuff so much and I just love the brand. I think they do such great stuff. I'm loving this packaging. I'm loving this soft romantic color story. I think it's really pretty, and I think it adds something to the Adept line. Like, when I look at all their palettes, I definitely think this feels like a gap in their palettes. I think a lot of people are really gonna like these pinky pretty tones, and I love my look. I do have tons of videos on Adept, and of course I will put my affiliated discount code and the launch date in the description box, but I'm also going to pop up some more videos from Adept here for you in case you want to check some more out. If not, I have tons of videos on makeup here on my channel because I love makeup. I can and do talk about it all day, so let me know what you think of this release down in the comments.